Allergic reactions are scary. When we think of allergies, hives, rashes, or difficulty breathing might come to mind. But sometimes, hours after eating something, the reaction is severe vomiting to the point of shock. This is just one sign of a severe allergy called FPIES. It's most commonly diagnosed, but it can also in children, but it can also affect adults. Here with more on what this is, we have pediatric allergist Dr. Anne-Marie. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So what is FPIES?
Yeah, so FPIES, that's a short form of food protein induced enterocolitis syndrome. So it's quite the mouthful. So that's what it stands for. And as you said, it does affect younger children and it is a delayed reaction.
Aside from vomiting after several hours after eating, what else could people see?
Yeah, so the most common symptom is that vomiting, and usually it's 1 to 4 hours after. Some of the other symptoms is diarrhea, severe shock, as you mentioned, so that presents as lethargic, the baby's hard to wake. Sometimes they have a lot of diarrhea, and then sometimes they turn a bit blue too.
So I'll tell you, my daughter, who's 2.5, had FPIES.
Oh my gosh.
This was my first experience with this, and I had never seen anything like this. It was terrifying as a parent to go through this because the vomiting is not like stomach flu vomiting.
No.
It is next level, and then the shock is quite scary. For us, it was egg that she reacted to, but I know that there are other foods as well that can bring this on.
Yeah, so it's tough with FPIES because it can be many, many foods. Some of the more common ones are milk, soy, some of the poultries, banana, sweet potato are some of the ones that we see, and egg, as you mentioned, but you're totally right. The vomiting is very profuse.
Mm-hmm. So how do doctors tell you or determine that this is what you have? Is there a test for this?
No, I really wish there was, but it's actually, there's no skin test. Lots of people come and ask for that at the allergy doctor. It's really the clinical history. So you telling me the symptoms and the classic age, and also the child presenting, delayed with their presentation.
So I can imagine, without having a test for this, if you're a parent or you're a family and you've gone through this and then you take your kid to the emergency room, it can probably be something that's misdiagnosed.
For sure, for sure. So when I diagnose patients, I give them a letter to literally take to the emerge department because it presents, lots of things present with delayed vomiting. So just because it's something that we're not aware of, so I'm super happy that we're talking about this today because it is something that people need to know about.
Yeah, it was something I had never heard of. Obviously, we experienced it, but I had also seen some influencers on Instagram, for example, talking about it, and I thought, what is this FPIES? Realizing that this is a different type of allergy. When does a child normally develop something like this? Like, when are you having these conversations with family? How old are the kids?
Yeah, the most common age is around 9 months is when I would say is kind of the classic presentation. Kids start eating around 6 months of age, and then as they go through the foods. And the interesting thing is it's not usually the first time you eat it. Lots of parents will say, oh, my child had eggs 5, 6 times, and it's like the 7th time.
Do we know why?
No, we don't know why. It's a different mechanism of action, but that's one thing. So just because you've had it once, it doesn't mean like you're safe.
So when we look at the future, is this something that families can grow out of?
Yeah, for sure. So most kids will grow out, 99% will grow out by the age of 2.5 to 3 years old. So we'll actually bring them back and say, okay, it's time to see if you've outgrown it.
As we said earlier, this is most commonly diagnosed in children, but I understand this could also affect some adults.
Yeah, so it's a new phenomenon. As you mentioned, FPIES in general, we're learning about it. It's not something we've known a lot about. What we're seeing now is adult onset FPIES, and usually it would present with shellfish and fish. It's more in the seafood department versus in kids, as you mentioned, milk, eggs, and those ones most outgrow. But it's always a challenge because you have to make sure it's not an anaphylactic allergy.
Absolutely. Doctor, thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Yes.
For any parents who are dealing with this, I'll tell you there is hope. Make sure you get yourself a good allergist like our doctor here. So that'll be a good step along the way. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.